I've been seeing this berry chantilly cake from Whole Foods all over my feed, and I just knew I had to make my variation of this berry chantilly cake. And let me tell you, it's the dreamiest cake, chock full of and bursting with juicy berries, sitting on a bed of mascarpone chantilly, and the most incredibly moist, tender, and light almond sour cream sponge. Let's get cracking. We'll macerate our berries first. This extra step truly transforms the cake. The maceration process essentially means marinating your fruit in some sugar, so that helps the fruits break down and release their natural juices, which helps melt the sugar as well and gives you the most amazing flavor to your berries, and also gives you extra syrup that you don't have to go out of your way to make to soak your sponge. So as you can see, I have sliced my blueberries in half and I have hulled the strawberry, meaning I've taken the green part out and cut them into quarters. Now I have blueberries and strawberries very easily available here, but if you get access to any other berries like blackberries or raspberries, then feel free to use them. I'll then add the caster sugar and give it a good mix. Now I know it doesn't look like much right now, but wait till your cakes are baked and cooled and your frosting's ready, and these berries will have a massive makeover that will leave your jaws dropped. So leave this aside at room temperature and let it do its thing, let it work its magic while we work on the cake batter. So preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius and we'll start sifting our dry ingredients here. So we have all-purpose flour or plain flour, ground almonds, and some baking powder and sea salt. You will just pass this through the sieve, and I like to use my spatula to press the dry ingredients against the sieve so that I can sift it very easily. And there you go. I'll keep this aside. Then we'll work on the eggs. So I'm going to crack 2 eggs which are at room temperature. Then I'll add in my vanilla and also some sour cream. It's the addition of the sour cream that really adds an extra boost of moistness to your cake and makes it really nice, light and tender. Just whisk it really well, and don't be like me, take maybe a larger container to do this so the eggs don't spill out. Now this mix doesn't look very appetizing, but wait till we add it to our cake batter and it is going to completely transform the cake. So keep that aside as well. And here I have some warm milk. Make sure it's warm and not hot, and into this you're going to add some vinegar and give it a good mix. It will curdle the milk, giving you instant buttermilk, and you'll keep this aside because the milk needs to cool down completely before you add it to the cake batter. Now we'll start creaming our butter and sugar. So first, in the bowl of my stand mixer, or if you're using electric beaters, then in your mixing bowl, you'll take some softened room temperature butter. I've used salted butter, but you can use unsalted as well. Then you'll add in your caster sugar and light brown sugar. I find the addition of the light brown sugar really tenderizes the cake and gives it more moistness, but you can use all caster sugar if you'd like. Now you'll scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl after mixing it for 5 minutes. You can see there are still a few unmixed streaks of butter and the brown sugar, so you will scrape it along the sides and the bottom of the bowl after 5 minutes and then go back in for 5 more minutes. So you will be creaming the butter and sugar for a total of 10 minutes, but not at a stretch. Then you'll slow down the speed of the stand mixer, and then you'll start adding this egg, vanilla and sour cream mix a little at a time, and you'll mix this first till the previous addition has been combined well before adding the next batch, and then you'll add all of it and give it a good mix. First you'll stop the beaters or your stand mixer. You'll scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl. As you can see, all the unmixed bits. Now, whether you're using a stand mixer or electric beaters, you do need to scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl several times while you're making the cake. It's just something that you need to do so the ingredients are well combined and that you get the most amazing and the fluffiest cake that you've ever tasted. So go back in, scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl, and go back in on a medium-high speed for about 2 minutes so that your eggs and sour cream mix really well with the creamed butter and sugar. Then you'll start your mixer on a low speed while gradually adding a couple of spoonfuls of the sifted dry ingredients and alternating it with the instant buttermilk that you prepared. Just make sure that the instant buttermilk you've made, the milk has cooled down, because you don't want to add warm milk into this batter, because all of the hard work that you've just done to cream the butter, sugar and the eggs and the sour cream, it will just deflate everything. So make sure it has cooled down thoroughly before you add this into the cake batter and keep alternating between the dry ingredients and the instant buttermilk. Once you've added everything, just scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl one last time and mix on a low speed for just about 20 to 25 seconds. You absolutely do not want to overwork the cake batter at this point and develop the gluten. If you develop the gluten, your cake is going to be really dense and gummy and not very appetizing and pleasant while you're having it. So make sure you're not over mixing. And then using my ice cream scoop, I'll keep alternating between the two 6-inch cake tins that I have here that I have greased really well and lined the bottoms with parchment paper so that I get equal cake batter in both tins. And then I'll just tap it against the worktop like this and then use my offset spatula and just spread the cake batter around so that it's leveled. And then these will go in the oven, which was preheating at 180 degrees Celsius for about 25 minutes, and the tops will be really golden brown. A skewer or a knife inserted in the center should come out clean. Once they're out of the oven, let them sit in their tins for about 15 to 20 minutes and then invert it onto a wire rack to cool completely. And while the cakes are baking and cooling, we'll make our mascarpone chantilly frosting. So here in the bowl of my stand mixer, I've taken some room temperature mascarpone. I've added some vanilla bean paste. You can also add vanilla extract and some sifted icing sugar. It's very important that you sift the icing sugar before adding it so that there are no lumps of the icing sugar in there. Then you'll scrape the sides and get the icing sugar in the center where the frosting is. Mix it on a medium speed for about 30 seconds or so. And then you'll start adding in your chilled whipping cream. I have used whipping cream which has about 35% fat. You'll just mix it for about a minute on a medium speed and then you'll stop your stand mixer. You'll scrape everything really well because you don't want the mascarpone to settle at the bottom while the cream gets whipped. You want everything to be whipped really well together. And then you will go back on a medium speed for about 2 to 3 minutes. Be very careful and keep a close eye. You don't want to over whip this cream and you don't want to go beyond medium speed. You want to whip this on a medium speed and towards the end just turn it down to slow and keep a close eye. So our frosting's ready, we'll keep it aside and look at this massive transformation and makeover our berries have had. Look at that syrup that has been created from macerating the berries. You'll strain the syrup and collect it in a different bowl so that we can use that to soak our leveled off sponges. So I've leveled off the cake so that we can get that beautiful sponge to just soak up all of that amazing liquid that we've got from macerating our berries. So I've taken the berries in a bowl and strained the juices off to soak our sponges. Then I am going to generously add our mascarpone chantilly frosting on the first layer of this cake. I'll also create a little dam along the edges so it can contain all of the beautiful macerated berries. And I'll just start piling on the berries generously. It looks absolutely incredible. I am not going light on the berries. This is a berry chantilly cake. So I want every bite of this cake to be bursting with these beautiful juicy berries. Now before I invert the second layer on top of this cake, I will also soak that side of that sponge with the leftover syrup and then invert it so that the flat side is on top. And now I will just add the leftover chantilly mascarpone cream on top of this and spread it out as evenly as I can. And I am going to go back to my friend, the naked frosting technique, because I love how rustic the cakes look. So I'm just going to smooth out the frosting. And I'll add the rest of the mascarpone chantilly cream into a piping bag which is fixed with a Wilton 6B nozzle, and I'll make these little meringue drops on top of the cake and then start studding it with my beautiful fresh berries. So these are not the macerated ones, these are just your fresh strawberries and blueberries. Now these are the only two berries that are available to me right now, but you can go ahead and use blackberries, raspberries, whatever is available to you. And as a final finishing touch, I'll take some of that leftover syrup from macerating the berries and just add little drips of that syrup on top of this cake, and it just looks like an absolute stunner. It is such a simple cake to prepare. It's very delicious, packed with flavor, The almond sour cream sponge really takes this cake to the next level, and the mascarpone pairs really well with the macerated berries, and the cream itself is not very sweet. I've intentionally kept the cream really on the less sweet side because I wanted the natural tartness and the sweetness from the berries to shine through while we macerate them. So, this is an absolute stunner of a cake, perfect to entertain guests, especially during this festive season as well. But if you want something simpler, then I have a very classic vanilla cake that you can see on the screen that you should definitely check out. So, click on the video that you see on the screen for this beautiful, best ever vanilla cake recipe.